Next, we turn to a science report on a major new effort to give California communities more warning about an impending earthquake. The quake in China's southwestern Yunnan province earlier this week provided a sobering reminder of the deadly toll. Unlike most natural disasters, earthquakes usually hit without warning. The NewsHour's Kat Wise has a story on plans to give residents in Southern California a heads up.
In
Mexico, when an earthquake is about to hit, many people hear this. And in Japan, where thousands of seismic sensors are installed around the country, this is what some TV viewers saw in 2011, right before their large quake hit. But in Long Beach, California, residents have had no warning system, even though the area, home to the second busiest container port in the country, oil refineries, and a major airport, sits on top of one of the most seismically active regions in the world. In 1933, a 6.4 magnitude earthquake hit Long Beach, causing widespread destruction and killing 115 people. Since then, laws have been passed to improve building standards, and residents are better educated about earthquake risks. So why hasn't a system been rolled out in the U.S. yet? Lucy Jones is the science advisor for risk reduction at the U.S. Geological Survey, or USGS.
Japan voted for the money after 6,000 died in Kobe. Mexico voted for it after 10,000 died in Michoacan. China had 80,000 die in the Wenchuan earthquake and then started early warning. What we're hoping to be is the first country that brings it in without killing 1,000 people first.
Earthquake. The system she's talking about, called ShakeAlert, is being tested in a handful of sites around California, including Long Beach.
Okay, it looks like it was an earthquake at 1:42.
On a recent afternoon, a loud warning and a countdown sounded in the city's emergency command center when a small quake hit to the north.
How many seconds of warning did we get?
We had 67 seconds of total warning.
Reggie Harrison is Long Beach's deputy city manager in charge of disaster preparedness.
If we get a warning, seconds or tens of seconds of warning, we like to give information to the gas department where they may take an opportunity to turn off gas, giving the public an opportunity to drop cover and hold, or giving a crane operator at the port an opportunity to get down from that crane.
ShakeAlert is being developed by a team of scientists from the USGS and several West Coast universities, including here at the California Institute of Technology.
So what we have here is what we typically have installed in the field.
Elizabeth Cochran, a seismologist with USGS and Caltech, is one of those working on the new system.
For the current early warning system, we have about 500 sensors throughout the state which are contributing data. And that number continues to grow as we install new sensors or upgrade sensors.
The sensors send back data in real time to servers on the campus, which use sophisticated algorithms to analyze the information in less than a second and send out alerts. Those alerts, which will range from a few seconds to a minute or more depending on distance from the epicenter, will eventually go out over cell phones, radios, TVs, and other emergency communications. The system depends on something about earthquakes most people probably don't know. They actually send out two different seismic waves. P waves, or primary waves, come first. They travel faster but are generally small and hard to feel. S waves, or secondary waves, are slower but cause more damage. That lag time is important, says Cochran.
We can actually measure those P waves, which aren't very damaging, and then predict how big the earthquake's going to be, and hopefully get that warning out to people before the S waves come in.
She showed us how the warning system would work during a hypothetical 7.8 earthquake in Southern California.
Our sensors would rapidly detect that earthquake. You can see here the yellow are the P waves, and the second wave here is the S wave, and that's where we get our strong shaking. Los Angeles would get about 60 seconds of warning.
Russ Oliver is one of a dozen or so seismic engineers around the state who install and maintain the large network of sensors. On the afternoon we caught up with Oliver, he was checking on sensors 10 feet underground in a concrete bunker near the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. The sophisticated equipment in this location costs about $30,000.
The sensors are very sensitive. Imagine a football field and you lift it up on one end, slide a human hair underneath it, and the sensors could detect that lift.
While the public early warning system will be new for most residents once it's rolled out, some private companies, like one called Seismic Warning Systems, already use different proprietary technology to provide earthquake alerts for paying clients. Sensors installed directly on their buildings reduce alert times, but costs range from $1,200 to $2,500 per client a year. But USGS's Lucy Jones feels it's important also for the government to make investments to the public system being created.
The reality is it's a benefit for all of us. Something like 40 states have some earthquake risk. We're going to figure out how to do it here because so much more is at stake. But once we do it, it's something that we can give to everyone.
So far, the system's only been partially funded by Congress. And in California, Governor Jerry Brown signed a bill supporting development of the system, but stipulated that no general state funds could be used. Mark Giroladucci is the director of the Governor's Office of Emergency Services.
Government will continue to provide a funding stream, but not all of the funding. We're looking at it in a little bit more innovative way, a little outside of the box thinking, to be able to incorporate our partners in the private sector.
Back in Long Beach, Deputy City Manager Reggie Harrison doesn't care how the system is funded. He's just anxious to get it implemented in his community.
It can literally save lives, this technology. Seconds really do count in this industry, and especially with an earthquake.
Officials say even if funding comes through soon, it will be several years before California residents are likely to hear this before an earthquake.